What narcissists do when they know they are guilty. The
I
shocking
did
ways
nothing
they
wrong.
avoid accountability. Have you ever noticed how some people become the most defensive exactly when they know they are wrong? A narcissist who feels guilty often does not respond with honesty, regret, or a simple apology. Instead, they may create confusion, shift blame, and make you question your own understanding of what happened. The reason is not always that they do not know they made a mistake. Many times, the deeper issue is that admitting guilt threatens the image they desperately protect. A narcissist often builds their identity around being superior, flawless, and always in control. So when reality challenges that image, they may react as if they are being attacked. Instead of facing the uncomfortable feeling of being wrong, they look for ways to escape responsibility. One of the first things a narcissist may do when they know they are guilty is deny everything. They might say things like, "That never happened," or "You are remembering it completely wrong." Their goal is not always to prove the truth, but to create enough uncertainty to avoid consequences. This behavior can leave the other person feeling confused and emotionally exhausted after every conversation. You may enter the discussion looking for understanding, but leave questioning your own memory instead. This is one reason arguments with narcissistic people can feel impossible to resolve. The focus slowly moves away from their actions and toward defending yourself against their accusations. Another common reaction is turning the situation around and making themselves the victim. Instead of discussing what they did, they may talk about how hurt they feel because you confronted them. Suddenly, the person who caused the problem becomes the person demanding comfort and sympathy. This reversal allows them to avoid sitting with the shame connected to their behavior. A healthy person can admit mistakes without feeling like their entire identity is destroyed. But a narcissistic person may experience guilt as a threat to their self-image and pride. Because of this, they may attack the person who exposes their mistake instead. They might criticize your personality, your past mistakes, or your emotional reactions during the conversation. This strategy takes attention away from their behavior and places the spotlight back on you. Another thing narcissists often do when they know they are guilty is minimize what happened. They may say, "You are making a big deal out of nothing," or "It was not that serious." By reducing the importance of their actions, they attempt to reduce the responsibility they carry. They want you to believe that your feelings are the problem rather than their behavior. This can create a painful cycle where you keep explaining your hurt while they keep avoiding accountability. Sometimes a narcissist will also use anger as a defense mechanism when confronted. Their anger can appear suddenly because it helps them regain a sense of power and control. When the conversation becomes focused on their anger, the original issue disappears. You may find yourself trying to calm them down instead of discussing what they did wrong. Another powerful tactic is changing the subject completely and bringing up unrelated issues. They may remind you of your old mistakes to distract from the current situation. This creates the illusion that both people are equally responsible, even when the issue started with them. The conversation becomes a collection of accusations instead of a moment of accountability. A narcissist may also pretend they are apologizing while avoiding true responsibility. They might say, "I'm sorry you feel that way," instead of acknowledging their actions. This type of apology focuses on your reaction rather than their behavior. A genuine apology requires understanding the harm caused and showing willingness to change. Without that, the apology becomes another way to end the conversation without growth. Some narcissists may even become unusually charming after being exposed as guilty. They may suddenly become affectionate, generous, or extremely caring to change the emotional atmosphere. This can make you forget the original problem because the positive behavior feels reassuring. However, temporary kindness does not always mean genuine self-reflection has happened. Real change requires consistent actions, not just moments of charm after conflict. Another sign is when they search for someone else to blame for their behavior. They may blame stress, childhood experiences, other people, or even you for their actions. While circumstances can influence behavior, they do not remove personal responsibility. A mature person understands that explanations are different from excuses. A narcissist who fears guilt often uses explanations to escape facing their choices. The most important thing to understand is that you cannot force someone to accept accountability. You can explain the truth clearly, but you cannot make another person develop self-awareness. Your power comes from recognizing patterns and protecting your emotional boundaries. When someone repeatedly avoids responsibility, your job is not to convince them forever. Your job is to decide what behavior you are willing to accept in your life. A narcissist may continue avoiding guilt because protecting their image feels more important than repairing the damage. But once you recognize these patterns, their reactions become easier to understand. You stop getting trapped in endless arguments where the truth keeps being ignored. You begin focusing less on proving your reality and more on protecting your peace. Remember, accountability is not about winning an argument or defeating another person. Accountability is about having the courage to look at yourself honestly and make changes. When someone refuses to do that, their behavior tells you more than their words ever could. The biggest shift happens when you stop chasing their admission and start trusting your own awareness. Because sometimes the most powerful response to someone avoiding guilt is simply refusing to carry their responsibility for them. If you have experienced someone who always avoids responsibility, remember that understanding their patterns can help you protect your emotional energy. You cannot control their choices, but you can control your boundaries, your reactions, and the way you value yourself. Thank you for watching, and remember that true strength begins when you stop searching for validation from someone who refuses to see the truth.